Hi everybody, Diana Harvey here, back with another episode of In Case You Didn't Know, Fact or Fiction. I have to share, I'm really enjoying this Fact or Fiction series. Don't get me wrong, I love doing interviews. That's a lot of fun too. But for Fact or Fiction, the thing that makes it so great for me is that I get to hear from you, my borrowers, as far as what your questions are, what you want to know is true and not true about what you perceive mortgages to be like. So today we're going to take a look at a question that came up recently from not one, not two, but three different borrowers. What was that question? Is the interest rate I see online the rate that I'm going to really get? So, as we discussed, the question was, is the interest rate I see online the rate that I'm really going to get? And in all three of these situations, the borrowers had come up with a monthly payment based on what they thought the interest rate would be, and of course, what they thought the term of the loan would be and the specifics for their situation. And in all three situations, it really wasn't accurate. But let's look at why it wasn't accurate. First situation happened to be a buyer that qualified for a specialty program that allowed her 5% towards her down payment, closing costs, and prepaids. She's a first-time home buyer and was able to qualify for this great program. But that program isn't available to everyone, and you're not necessarily going to see interest rates about that program online. So where it messed her up is that she kind of had gone through a budget and said, here's where I feel comfortable with in payment, even though I qualify for more. But she had based that payment and sales price on an interest rate that was not the rate she was going to get. What we were able to do for her is back that down into, okay, what is her payment based on this interest rate and the terms of this specialty loan? And how does that affect her situation? Then we were able to back that into the sales price so that she then was looking at properties that she knew she could afford at a payment level that made her happy, made her comfortable. Once she found that out, she was able to find the right house for her. Great job. Second borrower was a little different situation. The second borrower was someone that was looking at doing a cash out refinance. And that's a situation that, again, looking online, you're not necessarily going to get all of the factors that are involved with that. And let's just stop for a second and look at what are some of those factors that can affect the interest rate. Well, cash out refinance is one of the things that does give you a different interest rate. It's a little bit riskier product, so there's a little different interest rate. Down payment, that's another thing that makes a big difference as to what your interest rate is going to be. The type of property you're purchasing or refinancing is going to make a difference. And of course, one of the biggies is, what is your credit score? That can make a big difference as well. So for this particular borrower, because they were looking at a cash out refinance, they had not quite calculated what their interest rate would be. It's okay though. We still helped them figure out how they could get everything to work out for their budget so that they could get the cash out they needed to do the things they wanted to do with the equity they had in their house. Now, let's take a look at borrower number 3 and that situation. That situation was a borrower that wanted to use their VA benefits. Wow, those are great. You can buy with zero down. Wonderful program. But that wasn't the interest rate or program that he was quoted online. He had gone through a budget on what he felt comfortable with as well and really was kind of knew where he was going to be price range. But once we talked about his situation, he was actually a little surprised. The rate was a little bit better than he thought it was going to be. So it enabled him to borrow a little bit more and still feel comfortable with the payment for that purchase. So bottom line is, even though it's a great idea to go online to kind of get a general idea of rate and payment so that you know if you're kind of ready to purchase or not, but when it comes to the specifics, you want to reach out to me sooner than later. This way we can go over what programs do you really qualify for? What does that look like on paper? What does that monthly payment look like? How does that feel in your budget? And that way, when it comes time for you to make the decision, you're going to feel very comfortable. You're making the right decision based on the right facts. So I thank you guys so much for submitting your questions. If you have any other questions out there or something you want to know, is it fact or fiction? Please let me know. Maybe you want to be interviewed, or maybe you want to interview me. Would love to have you on the show. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.